My name is Holly Taylor, born here in Plano, Texas. I've lived here my whole life. This is where I've grown up. On January 6th, 1986, my father died. I was 6 years old. And from that moment forward, I was a very different girl. Nobody thought I'd live to see 16. I used to cut myself repeatedly. I'd get mad and I'd cut myself. I'd be sad, I'd cut myself. I hit bottom and I cut myself on my right arm 172 times and on this arm 67 times. After my mom put me in therapy, I got better. Life was great. Life went from black to white. There was birds. It was like walking through a Mary Poppins video. But it was also secular. I really got into art. Art was my calling. I love painting. That led me to art school in Italy. I lived in Florence for 2 years and I just drank it in and I loved it. It, I know now, was an idol. I lived in Italy and I came back and I went to UNT and I struggled. I felt utterly alone. So I was in college and I was working. at Starbucks. And I opened the Starbucks down the street. And I watched Prestonwood being built. And I watched it with dread. I had a huge distaste for religion. I'm working at Starbucks, and that's when I met Jarrett. He came to Starbucks and I just connected. He was a preacher. It was weird, but I connected. He treated me kindly. He treated me like a person. And one day he was in a meeting. I took a piece of receipt paper and I wrote him a note and I said, "Thank you for treating me like a person and not selling Jesus like a salesman." I also met Diane Baird at that Starbucks.
About 10 years ago, my daughter went to work at the Starbucks across the street from the church. And that's when I met Holly. I continue to pray for Holly, and one day last summer, she called me. Now, we hadn't talked for a long time, but she called me and she told me that she thought that she was ready to talk about God.
2 o'clock in the morning, I open the Bible. I don't know the Bible. I don't know what's in it. And I open up to Romans, and I read Romans 2. Everything he says in chapter 2 are things I've been saying for 10 years. That is awesome. I could not do it any longer by myself, and I picked up the phone, and who did I call? Diane Baird. She knew what was happening. I didn't want to admit it, and I knew for me it was fear. It was giving up control. Having control is what kept me alive, you know. I was in control. And I said, "Diane, I cannot do this on the phone." She drove right then from the Colony to East Plano to come and sit on my couch. Got up in my face. That's one thing about her and Jarrett I have always appreciated. They both know that God has the power for everything. So they just know somehow how to talk to someone who has been hurt by religion.
I remember us hugging and we cried and held each other. After we broke our embrace, I looked right into her eyes, and I was not expecting to see what I saw.
She said, "You are changed."
I've never seen this kind of transformation before, but I did that day. I saw Jesus in her eyes.
Total change in my life. I ran from having a father, and I have a daddy now. That's what Jesus is here for. He loved you. God sent him to take all of that away. And ever since, there's not enough hours in the day. I'm thirsty. I want more. I have discovered God used all of this time of humility to get me, to strip me bare of everything I thought I needed, even money, stuff, people. All I need is faith. Right now I know today is a new day. It's an outward expression of a change that has happened to me on the inside. And what God promises He will give. He will take care of me. I am His daughter. I have someone to love me, to cherish me, to tell me what to do, even to tell me when I'm wrong. If you want to love like that, you have to get on your knees. You have to humble yourself and say, I can't make that happen, only you can. Because that love is not man-made. God made that love. And that's really awesome.